Hello everyone, welcome back. My name is Mr. Kovault, and in this video I'm going to show you how to apply the rules of sig figs to various numbers. And so the question is, how do you know how many sig figs you have in a given value? So they're giving you these values. How do you determine the number of sig figs? So you need to know the rules for determining the number of sig figs. So there's three main rules for sig figs. The first rule is that oh, and I should preface this by saying that all three rules have to do with the zeros because all non-zero numbers are significant. So what about the zeros? So the first rule is deals with what are called trailing zeros, or the zeros at the end of your number. So the zeros that are at the right of your number, how do you know when those are significant? Well, the rule is they are significant only when there is a decimal point. If there's no decimal point, they're not significant. If there is a decimal point, they are significant. So that's the first rule. The second rule is if they're sandwiched between two non-zero numbers. So if you have a zero that's between, say, a 5 and a 2, that zero is significant because it's between those two non-zero numbers. Uh, and finally, the third rule is the rule of the leading zeros, the zeros at the beginning of your number. So they're to the left of the number. So what about those zeros? When are those significant? And the rule is those are never significant. They're only placeholders. They help you determine what place the other digits are in. So ignore your leading zeros. Zeros are at the beginning of your number on this side, on the left side. So let's go ahead and apply those rules and see how many sig figs we have here. So for A, we have 1, 0, 0. These zeros are your trailing zeros, or the zeros at the end of the number. So are those going to be significant? The answer is no. Why are they not significant in this place? Because there is no decimal point. So remember, the rule is these zeros at the end of your number, the trailing zeros at the end of your number, are only significant if you have a decimal point. There is no decimal point here, so they're not significant. So these are not significant. So this only has one significant figure, significant digit or significant figure, the 1. So only one sig fig for that number. Okay, what about B? So you'll notice here it's in scientific notation. The thing to keep in mind about scientific notation is that all the digits that they give you in scientific notation are significant, even if it's a 0 or not a 0. So we're looking at these numbers here, not the superscript, not the times 10. So this part of your scientific notation is not important for significant figures, only this part. And you'll notice there is a 1.0. There's two digits here. It's in scientific notation, so those would both be significant automatically. If we wanted to look at the 0 here, we could use our rules as well. So remember, zeros at the end of the number, your trailing zeros all the way to the right of your number, are only significant if there is a decimal point. We have a decimal point, so therefore this is significant. So we have two sig figs for that number there. Same thing for this number. It's in scientific notation, so all of these digits are significant. Also, by the rules, these are trailing zeros all the way to the right end of your number. And we have a decimal point, so those are significant. So we have 1, 2, 3 significant figures for this value. Now you'll notice the difference between A and D here is that we have a decimal point. Here, these zeros were not significant because there was no decimal point, so only one significant figure. But here, we have a decimal point. So that means these zeros are indeed significant, so we count them. So we have 1, 2, 3 significant figures. So this is going to have 3 sig figs. Okay, on to E. Here we have 0.0048, and now we're dealing with the leading zeros, zeros that are to this side of your number in the beginning, the front end of your number here. So, are these significant? No. Remember the rule is zeros that are leading, zeros that are at the beginning far left of your number are never significant. Never, ever, ever significant. So you don't count them. So these zeros are not significant. They're only placeholders. What do I mean by that? Without these zeros, I don't know the place of the 4 and the 8. With these zeros in, I know that this 4 is in the thousands place. So we have the tenths place, the hundredths place, the thousandths place, and the 10,000ths place, right? So without these zeros, I don't know what place these are in. So these are just placeholders to let me know. So we ignore those. So this only has 2 significant figures. Okay, with me so far? Excellent. Okay, so what about F? F again, we have these 3 zeros in the front. They are leading zeros. They're not significant. So you ignore them. What about this zero here? This zero is a trailing zero. So remember, trailing zeros, zeros that are to the right of your number, are only significant if you have a decimal point. And we do have a decimal point right there. Let me make it bigger. Let me make this bigger and this bigger so we can see that. All right, so this zero is significant because we have a decimal point. So yes. So we have 1, 2, 3. So this is 3 significant figures. G, again, scientific notation. So these 3 digits are all significant. That 0 is significant. So we have 3 significant figures. And again, if we're going to use the rules, that 0 is a trailing 0. We have a decimal point. It's significant. So this has 3 significant figures. The 480 is significant. And then here, again, we have scientific notation. We have 4800. All of these digits are automatically significant. We're assuming it's significant because it's in scientific notation. But again, we have these trailing zeros. If we use the rule, we have a decimal point here, then those zeros are significant. So we have 4 significant figures for that value there. I hope this video was helpful. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you like my channel, please subscribe to the channel. Help me out. Put a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think, and if you have any questions. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day.